Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to the Football Chat, where today we will be ranking and discussing every single Premier League team and their season in the Premier League. We're back with Mr. Jazz 11 Jack.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I'm
It's
just
paid me once
shocked.
again to come on. Yeah,
I'm
it's
shocked
shocking.
you've done it first time.
I've done the intro first time. But as I said, welcome back to the Football Chat. We'll be discussing every single Premier League team and how their season has gone. This is based off how they've obviously ranked, how they were before the season, last season, how they performed compared to this season, how much they're disappointed. I think that's one of the big things that's gonna lead to our overall say. It's gonna be how much they're disappointed or impressed. Because there are teams in the league who have impressed. But it's been a mental season. And we've literally, this is the day after we're recording this, the day after we recorded the final TFC Live of the Premier League season. We've only done 3 in the Premier League season because of COVID restrictions. But it was the end of the Premier League season, and what a mental stream it was. Make sure to check out that stream page, or that stream if you haven't done so already. But yeah, we were reacting to all the goals, and insert a clip here of my reaction to, should we say the 3-2?
Insert now. Solid. That was good, wasn't it? That was cool. Pretty cool. You shouted.
That was really cool. That was.
Imagine you don't edit something in.
That would be really unfortunate. But should we get straight into it, Jack? Where do you want to start? Do you want to start at rock bottom and go up with the league, or do you want to just go?
Do you want to go from the top to the bottom? I don't mind.
Should we start with Manchester City?
Okay, yeah, City.
I guess they have
out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So we ranking it out of 10. Obviously, there was 10 the best. That's how ranking works. Manchester City. How did their season go? Very, very bad start from them, or disappointing start from them. But they ended up winning the league.
Account is actually where they were at some points, because there's some teams that are doing well at some points of the season, and then absolutely flopping towards the end. So we can also take that into account.
Yeah, I think there was a season of many sections. I think where certain teams disappointed, certain teams overperformed and impressed. Overall, though, one of the weirdest seasons we've seen in the modern day. I think we can all agree.
A lot of chopping and changing of managers in big roles, such as Chelsea and Tottenham. But then seasons where you go, well, that's okay, but you still didn't win anything. Or, they've played well, but they haven't done as well as you'd think they would. So it's quite a weird season. Then you've got teams like Manchester United massively overperforming how good they are.
Yeah.
I'd say.
I think it was a weird and it was a strange season. I mean, obviously, we're getting to Manchester United very quickly because they obviously
second.
They obviously play second. Somehow. But we'll get onto that in a second. Manchester City. I wouldn't say they were like 10 out of 10 because they didn't keep consistent form. But I feel like
I think I'd go 9 and then 10 if they win the Champions League.
If they win the Champions League, it will be very good. I'm assuming. We'll obviously go off what we've seen so far. There are still Manchester United. Yeah, Manchester United obviously still have a finals play. Chelsea, Manchester City also do as well, and that will probably change our opinions. I guess we could do it just what we've seen up to this point. But Manchester City, I think 9 out of 10 is very fair, and by no means is not giving that one extra 1 point an insult at all. It doesn't mean that we think that you've been terrible this season by any means to any Manchester City fans. I think it's just it'd be very tough to get at 10 out of 10. It will probably have to be like you've won every single game or you've won most games. Which, to be fair, Man City have after their first period of having a bit of a stinker.
They've been incredibly consistent.
They reset, and certainly second half of the season they did impress. To be fair though, it's not any surprise necessarily.
It feels like everyone's just been really bad. Yeah,
this season it's been a very strange one.
The fact the league winner got only 80 points when in the last 2 years has been close to 100.
Yeah.
Or over 100, something like that. So, if it's been an odd year where it just seems everyone's underperformed.
I think it's the mix of the fans, obviously, with the technology, the Super League, all of that.
You've had a lot of people, we've had a lot more players out with COVID and that.
Yeah. Yes, let's not forget, because obviously a season goes over a whole year, and a lot of people are going to forget what's happened at the start of the year.
Well, also, you look back, and usually you've got a nice break between one season and then the next.
Yeah,
but
kind of merges.
They went from the end of last season, which was obviously delayed, straight into the next season. Then they've got the Euros after this, and it's practically straight into the next season. So
No
and then
rest,
the World
no rest.
Cup, and then the next season, and then you've got the first massive break. So it's very tough for the players. It's going to be very tough for the next few years.
But should we move on to second place? Manchester United. It's a strange one because I still feel like Manchester United next season, I'd be very surprised if they place where they did this season. I feel like they did very well off the fact that other teams very much disappointed. They were better than last season.
Yeah, they're definitely better than last season. Still awful. Yeah,
they're still not a top side, and yet they've got second place. I don't quite know how they've pulled it off.
Well, Liverpool have dropped off. Chelsea obviously had a poor spell through the kind of winter periods. Leicester bottled it at the end again.
I think it was
how they pulled it off.
Yeah, I think it was kind of they're a bit more consistent, I guess, but
I mean they didn't lose away from home, which is fairly impressive.
Yeah, by no means are we insulting Manchester United, but
I think it is everyone else playing poorly.
Yeah, but I think it is a mix of both, and I think they've certainly thrived off that. On that note, where would you
big transfers if they want to stay up there?
Where would you put them?
It's a tough one to rank, very tough one to rank. Probably 7.
I think if you go off the league position just as a whole, just the league position solely.
Based on what I think they'd hit at the start of the season, I don't think I'd have put them anywhere near second.
Yeah, they've really impressed on that front, but not necessarily in some of the games. Obviously, they've had some not so great games of the season. So I think 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 would certainly be fair. Make sure to comment down below if you disagree with us. I think 7, 7.5. Can we do decimals?
If they win the Europa League, an 8, and then if they lose the Europa League, a 6.
Yeah, I think
maybe not even an improvement for winning the Europa League because that's just expecting. If they don't win it, then obviously they've done poorly. So
yeah, I think 7. I think 7, 7.5, 7 is fair. Moving on to third place. I don't know how
they've snuck in, haven't they?
They snuck in.
An awful season for Liverpool, but they've managed to get in there right at the end. Everyone else
all of a sudden it doesn't look so bad looking at that league position, and yet I'm sure every single Liverpool fan will all agree that they really have had an extremely disappointing season.
It's been so up and down. Chelsea were in 9th at one point.
I mean, we were first. Tottenham were first,
Arsenal
and then we dropped
down
off.
13th, I think, at some point. So
yeah, but I think they were lower than that at some point.
Up and down, it's mental.
It's been a really strange season. I think that's going to make this video a bit harder to actually say. You know, they had a good start. Maybe they had a worse end, or vice versa. But Liverpool, obviously, they've had the injuries, which I guess you can put it down to. I think putting it down to solely injuries, I think is a bit...
Because they could have recruited better in January.
Yeah, I think...
They brought in Ozan Kabak, not a great...
I think it does show, though. Virgil van Dijk's the most important player for Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think anyone could debate that now.
Even Mane's been off it.
There was obviously...
He hasn't been injured.
Was it Jurgen Klopp himself said that as soon as Van Dijk got injured, the dressing room was... They were absolutely... They were just shocked. They were... Yeah, they were clueless. Yeah, they really did start to worry, and they were clueless of what to do.
Yeah,
and I think it just shows.
Main centre back,
and also their main. I just think it's their main man. Obviously not in attacking, but I just think he's that. He's just so solid. He's so reliable. Tends to be anyway.
He's a brilliant centre half. Probably the world's.
I think any team would seriously suffer from losing him and to an injury.
It's like if City. That's the thing. The squad depth, so that if they lose someone, it's kind of like they've got the means to replace them. And I think this is one issue that we realised before Virgil van Dijk, even with Liverpool, that they don't have. You take someone like Salah out, you're replacing him with Shaqiri, someone like not even a quarter of the ability of Salah. So yeah, they haven't got squad depth. But I'd say that's one of the better examples as well. I think that's there are worse. Yeah, I think the squad depth isn't great, but I think it's something they're going to look to improve. They've certainly learnt their lesson from this season. And let's face it, they have had a few seasons where they got quite lucky with injuries, I guess you could say. So it's kind of a bit of, quote-unquote, karma, maybe. Not really karma, but a bit of paying off for how lucky they got with injuries, maybe. But so what are you going to give them? I'd say... They've disappointed, let's face it, they've disappointed no matter what the league position is. I think the league position is only a quarter, maybe,
of actually, like, it's barely any of the story for Liverpool. And while they have...
Yes and no.
I think, though, I don't think it shows the story for Liverpool. By saying they got third, you just think they've had a pretty solid season.
They still dropped off two places.
No, they still have dropped off 2 places.
You can look at certain points of the season, obviously, so I agree with you in some aspect. You also look at the fact they haven't won a single trophy this year, which is pretty interesting. Yeah. They didn't win anything.
I'd say
from winning practically everything.
6 tops for me.
Yeah, no, six.
I think 6 is
maybe a 5
ranking. I think it would have been 5 if they didn't get, or even lower if they didn't get Champions League. Then I think it could have been even lower.
It's saved by everyone else kind of bottling it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and it's also, I mean, fair play to Liverpool, and they managed to quote unquote clutch up last minute there. And fair play, Liverpool fans will be buzzing with that one. Moving on to the final spot in Champions League football, and I mean, we did save your Champions League football. Tottenham Hotspur did save your Champions League football, and I mean, you didn't save yourself, did you? You lost 2-1 to Aston Villa, but obviously that Tottenham versus Leicester scoreline 4-2, by the way. Watch TFC Live. Yeah, that obviously helped you.
Do watch TFC Live.
Do please. Yeah, where would you say Chelsea? How would you rank it? It's been a strange one again. We'll find ourselves saying that for every single team, probably.
It's a season you need to put into perspective. If you told me at the start of the season, especially under Lampard, that we'd be sitting 4th in the Prem with Champions League football secured for next season, would have been FA Cup runners-up, and that would be in a Champions League final in 5 days' time. You would have taken it, yeah. I'd have told you you're bloody mad, because we did not look like that under Lampard. Especially if you told me when Tuchel was appointed, I'd have said that's not happening. There's no way Thomas Tuchel was going to take us from 9th in the league to 4th, and it looked like at that point that we were going to lose that tie to Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, and that we wouldn't get near the FA Cup final. But they have done immensely well to recover from where we were under Lampard. Yes, we lost the FA Cup final, but that can be made up for with the Champions League at the end of the week. Yeah. So, with that said, I think it is pushing on an 8-9.
8-9, do you think? I think Tuchel saved your season, but there's no question about it. Lampard, I think we've learned from the manager rankings.
For the year he was in there, the first year, because he managed.
I think we learned in the manager ranking video. I don't rate Lampard at all. I think he was key
for bringing through those young players. But then after that, his lack of experience is what ultimately.
Yeah, he had a great theory, but I think the execution wasn't great. He brought in the youth players, which is I think the best thing he did at Chelsea, and I think
he's the best man for that time because we had the transfer embargo. Yeah, we had that whole problem. We needed to bring through the youth at that time, and it was great that he trusted the youth, brought them through, and it's now you can see they're thriving. People like Mason Mount doing really well in the first team, so he was brilliant for that time. But obviously, now, not good enough.
I think you could say a 9 or an 8. I think, once again, it would also reflect off... I mean, put it like this. If you were to now go and lose the Champions League final...
If we lose it,
You put it like this.
7.
You've lost the Champions League final. You've lost an FA Cup final. You almost bottled Champions League spots. Yeah. That could have been catastrophic.
But then if you put it in perspective of the
end.
Start of the season to where we come, even if we lose those finals...
I think... I'm going to give 2 different scores here. I'm going to say an 8... I'd say maybe a 7.5, 8 without the Champions League, and I think you could be.
If we win, it's a 10. There's no if we win the Champions League final from the position we were in February, where we were at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think with February, if you were to go from look where you were just before Lampard was sacked, that's just mental that you were to go and win that.
Could go and win the Champions League final.
It is mad. It is mad. Obviously, that will be. Yeah,
check it out. We love the segues on this show.
We do love plugging our own shows. We're obviously going to be doing a live watch along to not only the Europa League final, but also the Champions League final.
Both 7:30, or are we going to bring the Champions League one?
I don't know. Keep your eyes out. The stream page will also be releasing for that very, very soon. But it's going to be an interesting one. That one
might be out after the Europa League one, though.
It might be.
Bear in mind.
I don't know. Maybe
you might know that United have won it or lost.
You might.
Hopefully lost it.
Hopefully that would make for an amazing show. But obviously for the Chelsea, Champions League final, Chelsea versus City, it's going to be a lot of passion in that one. I'm just going to be sitting in this chair over here, just totally relaxed. But you're going to be in the hot seat, sweating.
Oh God!
And it's gonna be a show that no one wants to miss out on. Whether you win, you're gonna have great reactions. If you lose, you're gonna have great reactions.
Either way,
it's a win.
Crazy.
Win. Moving on to someone that's that bottled the top 4 place,
but did win the FA Cup. Leicester win the FA Cup, the first time I ever won it. It's got to be a high score,
and still did impress.
The fact that obviously they've bottled Champions League now 2 years in a row, but they have got Europa League. Hopefully, I think they could win that next year, and they did win the FA Cup final, obviously beating Chelsea, which, to be fair to them, was good. I mean, marred by VAR, yes, but they still deserve the win.
Yeah.
So, I think it's going to be a high number. Obviously, not as high as if they'd got qualification to the Champions League, but still probably a 7 or an 8.
Yeah, I think they impressed. I don't think we can let the fact that they just dropped off the top 4
well, I think
right at the end. I don't think you...
That's definitely a big
I think it knocks off a point. I think it definitely knocks off a point.
They were in the top 4 for 244 days and then didn't get it.
Yeah, but to be in the top 4 for 244 days is a big achievement for Leicester. I think it knocks off a point, certainly, but I'm not...
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one then.
But I don't think it doesn't go from like an 8 to like a 4 by any means.
No.
I think a 6 or a 7. I think a 7.
That kind of range.
I think FA Cup, very, very good for Leicester, and you saw the scenes after the game. I know you probably switched off, but it was great scenes. I mean, it's great to see an owner be passionate about a football club, because you don't get
Tottenham really do give you PTSD. Owners,
yeah, it's Enoch Levy, yeah. It's not. It is great to see an owner actually give one about a football club, because you don't see it. You see it time and time again. Glazers, I mean, prime example.
I think Abramovich is a good example of someone who does care.
Yeah, he does.
He puts a lot of money into the club. So
he does care about the football club.
I don't know why I'm patting the PSG badge.
Yeah,
it's got nothing to do with it.
PSG fan. And then you obviously Leicester owner. Leicester owner as well. Probably the most passion we've seen from an owner in a while.
Yeah, in the current top 20, the Premier League owners. Then mind you, Delia Smith's coming next year. Might try and take his crown. But where are you?
I mean, she could. But let's move on to, where were we? 6?
West Ham.
Yeah.
It has to be an 8 or a 9 for me.
I think
the fact that they've got Champions League, the fact that they've got Europa League football.
And by the way, I know we're going to be, if we were to go for a 9, we might not go for a 9. But if we were to go for a 9, I know there'll be people sitting at home thinking they've gone West Ham, Man City on the same level. Doesn't mean their footballing abilities are.
No,
but I think they've impressed. West Ham have impressed so much.
From Manchester City, you expect them to be up there. West Ham, obviously, last year was shocking. They were deep in the bottom half, I'm pretty sure. So to come up and be 6th this year, David Moyes has worked wonders there. They've made some good transfers. Jesse Lingard on loan has been key to the success. People like Soucek, Kufau, they've just been key. And it's good to see a club rise from so low last year.
As much as we hate to see it as a rival.
I mean, I don't really count them as rivals.
You don't. Yeah. But obviously, we, as a Tottenham fan, we would count them as rivals.
They are still rivals, but
I think, as much as you hate to see it and hate to admit it, they've had a very, very good season. I don't think anyone can deny that.
No.
Even if you're the biggest West Ham hater out there, we can all agree that they've impressed everyone. They've shocked everyone with. I mean, they've shocked their own fans.
Yeah.
They've really shocked everyone in the footballing world with their performances and with their overall placing. They're in the Europa League, and that'd be intriguing to see how they perform next season. But yeah, so what would you say? 8, 9, 8.5?
Yeah, we'll go 8.5.
8.5. We'll meet in the middle. 8.5 for West Ham, and that finishes up the Europa League spots, the final European spot that was nicked right at the end. Cue the clip. No, I'm not going to play the clip again.
No more clips.
But as much as, and this will be an interesting debate with Tottenham Hotspur, as much as Conference League isn't good,
it's European football, but it's not really, is it?
It's not. It's not
good.
Nothing
to shout about.
But I mean, literally 10 minutes before the end of the season, it looked like we weren't getting European football. So I think that is what made it just... I think that's what made, obviously, all the reactions. But I think, yeah, it was a mad game. It was a mental game, full of ups and downs. Obviously, Arsenal going ahead. We're not here to discuss the game, though. So we'll get back into the overall rankings. Tottenham Hotspur.
As a whole, obviously, you're the
very
Tottenham fan, so I'll
disappointing.
let you rant in a minute. But I think, overall, it's got to be a 1 or a 2. If you told me at the start of the season that a team managed by Jose Mourinho with Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, and Heung-min Son in that team was going to finish 7th and be out of the Europa League to Dinamo Zagreb, then it just seems unfathomable, doesn't it?
I don't think Jose Mourinho. You always. I think you still refer to Jose Mourinho as a top class manager.
He is still a top class manager.
I don't think he is. I think he's lost his spark. It's a debate that we've gone into before, but I think Jose Mourinho, I'll be intrigued to see what he does at Roma.
I think
but you look at his time at Man United, his time at Tottenham,
I think that's
he's just
massively
caused
down
chaos.
to the owners. If you look at all the clubs he managed before, Porto, Inter, Chelsea, Real, all owners who care and all systems that work, their recruitment is brilliant, all those clubs. If you look at United and Tottenham, there's teams where the owners don't invest enough and they're teams that the fans are very angry at the team all the time. It's very hard to manage both those clubs because of the anger surrounding the club and the expectation. And obviously the owners don't invest enough.
Yes and no, though, because I feel like him moving to Manchester United I think there was a difference just in general. I think there was a difference.
Players like Pogba, I know obviously he's been a lot more critical of his players in the media than he was before, and that's something that obviously is sad to see, because he would back up his players massively at Chelsea, and we saw at the end of his second stint at Chelsea that he was kind of doing the same thing. But overall,
I think he began to fell
big
off.
transfers that he made that could have performed for him. Bale didn't really turn up to the second half. Pogba was a massive transfer. If Pogba had played like he did at Juve,
I just don't think
United would be in a much better position. He'd probably still be in charge.
I just don't think Jose Mourinho is the manager that he was. I don't think anyone can debate.
No, he's not the manager he was, but he's still a top class manager. And I think if
he certainly when he was at Tottenham, I don't think he was. He wasn't in the top.
Roma, he'll do it.
I'd take Bielsa over him. I'd take Bielsa over him. I'd take Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. I would say there's quite a few managers.
You've just named 3 world class managers there, and right now, based on their performance,
Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers, once again, very good manager. And look, you're basing it off of what he's just done at Tottenham, which is fair enough. That is his most recent that's his most recent job. But equally, I don't think he was given enough money to work with there. I mean,
well, no, but it's an issue that everyone's encountered at Tottenham, and I think it's a debate that we could make an entire video on.
Yeah, but only Poch has done well there.
And yet, Poch was given a quarter of the money that Jose Mourinho was in a transfer window.
The thing is, Poch didn't need it because he knew the squad. Mourinho did. That's not his team. He doesn't.
But he did. I think any manager needs money. Just because he knows the squad doesn't necessarily mean that he needs. Well,
it does because it's Poch's squad. He's built that squad from the bottom. They all play Poch's system. Mourinho didn't have the money to come in and implement his own system, so to try and implement his own system on Poch's players.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think obviously we're going on the rant about Jose Mourinho and the owners.
I mean, look what he's done for Kane, example.
Yeah, he did great for Kane.
But then there's players who just will not work in that system. Dele Alli, for example, as soon as he had a manager who wouldn't just let him do whatever he wanted whenever he wanted, like Poch did.
Yeah, there was good sides to Jose Mourinho and what he did at the club. There was clearly players that liked him at the club.
Yeah.
I think he comes off the wrong way to the fans. I think that might be part of the issue why people are beginning to dislike him more and more in the football world. I think
he doesn't back up his players as much as he did back when he was in charge of Chelsea. So.
But that's what I mean. I think that's one of the things that have changed. And obviously, we're not here to discuss Jose Mourinho. We are here.
Tottenham season.
We're not here solely to discuss only Tottenham season, but that's what we're discussing at the moment. Tottenham season, I'd say 2-3. And this isn't
1-2. Around that kind of ballpark figure.
Yeah, between 1, 2, 3. I think, a massive disappointment. If you look for, let's say 2 seasons ago, Champions League final. You're in the Champions League final, and we've gone from that to even last season where we were. You'd like to think that at that time, after last season, the owner would have invested and you would have just stepped up your game, whereas we didn't really see that. We saw at the start of the season with Tottenham, which is something I guess we have to bear in mind. But I guess that leads to more negative rankings overall. We were first in the league for what, like a month or something?
I don't know if it was a month, but yeah, I know they were probably top at some point.
It was. We were definitely top for longer than a week. It definitely was for a few weeks, I think, and yet we just dropped off so poorly. I think number one, Jose Mourinho sitting at the back, I think that tactic really harmed us. Every single time that we would score a goal, we'd sit back. Whether it was in the first 10 minutes or 80th minute, we would always drop back, and it would just be so...
That is Mourinho's system. It's all
passive.
Part of us, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think with the Tottenham squad, I just don't think it works. No. With the quality that we have at the back, there isn't.
Hopefully,
there's barely
he's
any
given
quality.
a budget to work with in Roma, and he can actually implement his system into the side.
Yeah,
but also gives a chance for players like Nicolo Zaniolo and Lorenzo Pellegrini still get a chance to develop in that Roma side, because they're brilliant players. They've got some very good young players.
Yeah, they have. But I think, number one issue, we would always sit back and then we concede and then we panic. Our replies was a big issue. I think that we still had under Ryan Mason. Obviously, we've only seen a few games, but the replies, we struggled. I think it did improve under Ryan Mason, but that we always struggle to, if we concede, to then go and reply with a goal or with at least a bit of passion. And I think passion is something that we lacked as well this season. I think there's
that
on that football pitch,
game.
it looked like many times during that season on that football pitch there was only a couple of players, at most a couple of players that really looked like they had their heart in that game.
I feel like an in-depth Tottenham video could be something on the horizon. Could be something. How to fix it in that. So we'll probably go more in depth into that at a later date. But I think
that's what made the Leicester game so impressive, though. We'll move on to a second. I'm just saying that I think it was it wasn't a great season. It wasn't a great season overall. I think a 2 or a 3 is fair. While we did get European football, Conference League. If you told me at the start of the season we'd have Conference League, well, I'd question because we didn't even know what Conference League was.
It was a thing, but yeah.
Well, it was. Yeah, it was talked. Yeah, it was. We knew it was on the horizon, but we knew it. But we didn't know that much of it. We didn't really.
Well, it wasn't broadcast much because UEFA announced it, but no one was really talking about it because it wasn't a big thing. But then obviously they announced they actually did announce the actual rules. So they'd already said it was going to happen, but they hadn't actually.
Yeah. So it wasn't discussed that much, but I think it wasn't. It was a massive disappointment. I've seen many people say that Tottenham had the most disappointing season out of every single Premier League club. I think that could be a fair statement.
Probably fair, other than I'd say Brighton.
Do you think Brighton? I mean, that's something we'll get into obviously later on, very later on. So
I'm not too late though.
Yeah. Hopefully, it won't be too long. We've decided we'll pick up the pace a little bit now. So we'll move on to, it was Arsenal, wasn't it?
It's Arsenal. They finished 9th.
They did finish 9th.
Oh, no, it's a tight one.
Finished
8th. 8th. Arsenal 3. Last season was poor, but this season was almost worse. The fact they were booing Arsene Wenger's 4th place finishes seems
that really does seem mental.
And even Unai Emery was doing better than Arteta. But then with Arteta, they back him to a wall. Like, Arsenal fans, you confuse me. Yeah, Connor especially.
Yeah, I think I don't get. I mean, I do have a point that I'll bring up for the next 30 seconds. I'll just say it. I think the fact that only now they're beginning to question Arteta's role, I think it shows their expectations.
I don't think they are though. They're backing him for next season, hopefully bringing the right transfer and all that.
Yeah,
I think it's good to back the manager. It does seem a bit delusional at times because it's like, you're not criticising when they're losing. You're just going, this season's a dud and we'll move on to next year. But
if you do that next season, if every single season, it will just always be a massive disappointment. Yeah. And what if you don't come back? Well, we obviously will come back next year, but what if you disappoint again next season?
But it doesn't seem like Arsenal will. It seems like they could actually just go into being a mid-table side.
Which would be great for me. That would be hilarious.
Because Kroenke doesn't want to invest in it. So where are they going to get money
from?
It's
another issue.
They're going to have to sell.
But I think it shows, just before we do come up to the actual rankings for Arsenal, I think it does show that the Arsenal fans' expectations have been massively lowered recently over recent years, because as you said, some people aren't even questioning Arteta's role, and yet they're in 8th place. And yet looking at where they were earlier on in the season, that's actually quite good. But it's the fact that they're not even questioning Arteta's role. I think it just shows their expectations have been massively lowered. And Arsenal, as a football club, could be, and well, we know for a fact are going downhill at the moment, and they need. I mean, I don't want them to, rebuild. But they need a big rebuild.
Once again, I think that's a video we could do.
Yeah, Arsenal rebuild. Soon. But I think it's Arsenal rebuild will only happen. New owner, new manager.
Not necessarily, because I think there's some good players, and obviously if we do end up doing that video, then we could talk about it more then. But I think there's some good players available for good prices this summer, especially after COVID. So if they do
maybe or a new owner mentality, a new mentality for the owner then, because I think. At this
they just need to be smart. As soon as their owner wants to invest, what they go and do is they go and get Nicolas Pepe for 72 million. I mean, if you look how that transfer's gone, they couldn't have known it would go so bad, and they probably predicted it.
He did score 2 goals against Brighton, though.
He did do that.
And no, we'll obviously get.
Connor still thinks he's going to score next season.
But there you go, 9th place.
That was, I believe, Leeds. Yeah, but if you told me that a promoted side, obviously Sheffield United and Wolves have done similar things in the last few years, so it's not as surprising anymore, but I still think Leeds, especially with people saying Patrick Bamford isn't Prem quality, he's a Championship striker, things like that. They didn't look like they had a stronger squad as Wolves did last year. They looked like they'd do not as well as they have, to be honest. They looked like they'd do what Villa did in terms of they were near the bottom but didn't quite get relegated. But they've actually done very well this season. Patrick Bamford's obviously been excellent. People like Calvin Phillips have got England call-ups. And Marcelo Bielsa has proven that he's very good and they can do it on the Premier League stage. So, Leeds, 9th. They did. I don't know what they did in the FA Cup. I can't remember, to be honest. But I can't judge that. But based on their 9th place in the Prem and the way they play and just how good Marcelo Bielsa is, Patrick Bamford did well on the goal-scoring sheet. It's got to be like a 6, 7 probably. Like, they haven't gone and blown the socks off of anyone. They haven't finished, 5th or something.
Yeah.
To go into Europa League. Yeah. But they have done well to get a good, solid 9th. That's a foundation they can build on for next season if they recruit well. And Rafinha especially as well. I haven't mentioned him yet. He's been incredible. So, if they can build from here next season, I'll be expecting maybe an 8th. If they can push on, get the right players in. Yeah. Even 9th again next year would be good. So it's a good foundation.
It was impressive. It was definitely impressive, and I think it does show Bielsa's class. I think he's a world-class manager, as you said earlier. Mm-hmm. He's a very good manager with some very good players. That's the thing with Leeds is like Patrick Bamford,
Stuart Dallas look class. Yeah. Anyone who can make Stuart Dallas look class is a good manager in my books.
It's even people like Patrick Bamford. Yes, he's a really good player, but going into this season, you wouldn't have said he'll score. I don't know how many goals he scored.
He's got 15, I think.
Yeah, I think we knew that Leeds would have performed. Or well, I certainly would have predicted that Leeds would have performed well. Yes, obviously their 9th isn't absolutely groundbreaking, but it is.
But it has been proven they are shaky at the back, and they do counter too hard. They attack, but then that leaves them vulnerable.
It's very attacking football.
So based on that, you'd think it was going to be that there'd be a team like Norwich a few years ago who played very nice football, like Fulham and Brighton this year, but that played great football, but then just cannot get those results. But Leeds have shown that they can get those results.
Yeah, and
it's
they've done
having
well.
a good striker like Bamford. It's having a good playmaker like Rafinha that gets those results over the line.
Any Leeds fans watching, well done, fair play. You've definitely Leeds as a club.
Chants are a bit weird though that we found out on the live. Chants.
But it was an impressive season from Leeds. And they literally was. I don't know whether they finished level on points with Arsenal or not, but obviously they finished above the likes of Everton, which at the start of the season, Everton.
Nice segue.
Yeah, nice segue. Everton at the start of the season.
Carlo Ancelotti's coming. You've got James Rodriguez is coming in on a transfer. You've got Calvert-Lewin starting to play well.
And I think even in that first few games, they were quality.
Top on game, I believe, after 4 games, they were actually top of the league. So
yeah, they were quality. They were very good sides to play off. Very tough side to play against.
Calvert-Lewin looked like he was going for the golden boot, but then injuries hit, and the confidence seemed to go at Leicester. Everton. I mean, they lost 5-0 on the final day.
Yeah, that was very. Yeah, it was a very bleak way to end
a season that looked like it go very well for the Toffees, but actually ended up in pretty lowly 10th.
Yeah,
but I think
a pretty bleak end to the season in a 5-0 loss, yes, to Manchester City.
They can make some good transfers,
but...
like we mentioned with a lot of clubs this season. They can make some good transfers from 10th. They've got the foundations in James Rodriguez, in Carlo Ancelotti's a manager actually, in Ben Godfrey. I mean, Pickford's okay, but Digne and that, they've got very good players.
They've got, once again, great foundations, but they need to build up the foundations.
Yeah,
I think
the foundation be built from there.
Yeah, it was disappointing, I guess, if you look at the way that they went into the season with their first few games and just in general.
It looked very encouraging for them.
It did look very encouraging.
Looked like they were going to push for Europe at least.
I mean, James Rodriguez and people like that.
He's a very good player.
It was a big shock when he moved.
Suffered massively with injuries, so I think they would have done much better if they hadn't got a lot of injuries, but I guess you could say the same for a lot of clubs, and it's about how do those get those injuries. Is something to do with the medical team and all that. But regardless, Everton should have done better, but so probably a 5. I mean, no one thought they were going to finish first or something, but they did look more than a 10th. So I think a 5 or a 4 would suit them well.
Yeah, I think it was it. Yeah, I think that's fair rankings. Around that mid 5, I think would be a fair ranking.
Should we move on to Villa now?
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, let's pick up the pace.
Aston Villa, right?
For the second half, I'm just gonna get the league table up because now I'm just double checking fact checking.
11th place, considering they were 17th last year, I believe, and that they only kind of stayed up because the goal line technology system didn't work at the end of last season when Nyland put the ball behind the goal, and then they didn't give it. But considering that they were that close to going down, to come 11th, and
11th,
to record massive wins like the 7-2 against Liverpool.
Yes, that's something that they've got to knock up like a point just for that scoreline.
Just for that game. But Dean Smith has really got that group together, and they've made some decent signings with Ross Barkley and even Emi Martinez. What a signing, by the way.
Yes,
Matty Cash. Big play. They got some
I'm not gonna lie. Like Martinez, I didn't really have my eye on him, but as the season's gone on, we've realised that he's a quality keeper. Yeah. He really is a quality keeper.
And he just Aston Villa from being on the bench. He's been excellent at Aston Villa this season.
Yeah, Aston Villa.
Massive.
I think it'd be fair to say like a 6-7.
I think even higher. I think a 9-10.
Do you think?
It's got, but they almost got relegated last year. And some of the football they've played this season have been absolutely sensational. To come from almost being relegated to looking like they could get in the top half, push for Europe and that. Obviously, towards the end, they've started to drop down a bit. But they have suffered big with injuries. Jack Grealish obviously been out for the last few months, so been in and out of the side.
I think an 8. I think just an 8's fair.
An 8.
We'll go with an 8 out of 10. And obviously, just a quick reminder, that's based off not necessarily the actual quality of the football, but how well they've impressed, how well they've done, especially going into the season.
Overperformed their expectations of this season.
And they've certainly overperformed their expectations, and that's no insult to Aston Villa.
But then, it looks like, if you look at the stats, they've actually just underperformed a lot of their XG and
expected goals
and that, so it looks like they're actually playing amazing football. And
they are.
If they had Grealish fit, I think they could have maybe even got Europe.
I mean, I would have said top end of the. I would have said. I would have said top end of the league. That's what I was going to say.
Maybe even 8th. Could have even got 7th over Tottenham, but
I think next season it's promising. I think obviously investments.
Get Barkley maybe on a permanent. Maybe even get Tammy Abraham. That would be amazing.
That would be a big move.
Ollie Watkins again. Didn't mention him. He's been brilliant this season after coming from Brentford.
Yeah.
So
should we move on? Just to speed things up. We'll probably do some quick fire.
Came 12th. If you look at how they play, you'd say poor, but then Carl Darlow's been good in patches. Callum Wilson's been a massive signing from Bournemouth for them.
That was a big.
He's got a lot of goals from this season. I think he's practically carried them up there. I don't think they've merited a 12th place whatsoever.
Steve Bruce's black and white army, they've pulled through some good results.
Considering the shoestring budget they're working on from Mike Astley, the fact that they've got up.
I wanted to just double check on these scorelines, but obviously they put on a good game against Manchester City a few games ago. They beat Leicester 4-2, which I mean
that was a massive game. Joe Willock, by the way, loaned from Arsenal in January, I believe, has been absolutely sensational since coming in. He's just really transformed their season.
Yeah, I think it was
midfield. So.
Yeah, Willock's done quality for Newcastle. I wouldn't have based off the way that before played, I wouldn't have said. I think 12th.
12th seems mental. They haven't. I don't think they've merited.
Yeah.
Quite. But
whether they've, as you're saying, merited it, I don't know. But whether they've deserved 12th. I don't think it's like they certainly didn't deserve relegation or anything, but I think it was.
Well, I don't know. At times it looked like, and to be honest, Mike Ashley deserves his club to be relegated. But for all the Newcastle fans, they'll be buzzing with 12th, I imagine, because it's been a pretty dire season.
It's been a pretty dull season for Newcastle, but I think 12th is a good finish, and a good finish overall with their performances they put in near the end of the season. Newcastle.
What were you going to say? I forgot to give them actually a score.
Yeah, we are giving them a score.
Probably 5. I think they'll be happy with 12th, but I don't think they deserved it.
4 or 5, I think, is
yeah, maybe even 6 because they managed to push up to 12th. But now, so after Newcastle, we're actually going to be hitting some teams that I think are going to be very low rankings, obviously, because we've got some relegated sides, but also sides that deserved a lot more from this season. And I think the next one of those is Wolves. Obviously, last season came into the league. Looks very good. Nuno's Army were battering teams about.
I mean, we can briefly discuss Nuno. Obviously, he's left.
He has left.
But we're not going to go, is he going to Tottenham? Is he going to this team? Is he going? We're not going to do that. Keep your eyes out, though.
Tottenham rebuild next week.
But yeah, Wolverhampton Wanderers, or probably easily said Wolves. Where would you? How would you rank them?
It's got to be like a 4. Nuno's last season was brilliant. Based on where they finished.
That is true. I mean, there's another team on here. There's another team on here that we may discuss last. That's going to be even more disappointing.
Yes, I know, but we
move quite literally. We move on to. Hang on, what are we giving for Wolves?
We'll go 4.
4. Yeah, I think 4 is a.
Well, mate,
fair...
actually. If we've just given Newcastle a 5? Yeah, actually, the 4 is good.
Yeah,
Newcastle 5.
4 or 5.
Okay.
Crystal Palace 14th. They always seem to be a bit of lurking, don't they? Crystal Palace.
They don't go down, but they're not.
Yeah, they always lurk around.
It's like Burnley, similar team kind of. Then they don't get relegated.
Then again, they did. I mean,
almost,
the point difference. The point difference was obviously a big point difference between 18th relegation and 17th Burnley. But
not shortly, but yeah. They're similar clubs in that they kind of stick around that mid-table, lower table, but not really pushing into the top half. But then they occasionally have a good season where they have one player who comes through, does really well, and then they sell him for a big profit, like Aaron Bissaka. And then obviously they got Eze, who'll probably go. Eze, obviously, move on to him quickly. He's been very good this season. Zaha once again. He's still not got that big money transfer away. I feel like
you always get the rumours. You always get the rumours.
Going for free to Everton or something, isn't he?
Everton
when he's washed.
Could be a shout.
When he's washed up.
But yeah, I think Crystal Palace. Would you say 5? It's not like they're really disappointed. No. But
I don't think anyone's going, that's an awful season. No one's going, that's a great season.
I think a 5. That's why I've gone smack bang in the middle 5.
4, 5-year-old, however old he is now.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson's obviously retiring.
Get him into 14th. Obviously, next season, if they do end up going for Frank Lampard, I think that could be a very tasty prospect for Crystal Palace.
I think it'll be an interesting one to see. I think it'll be a new challenge for Frank Lampard.
And he's proven he can bring young players through, and they've got Eze, they've got Tyreek Mitchell. The Palace Academy is actually a decent one.
Yeah, and I think it's one that Frank Lampard, if he was to go there, he'll know that that's probably one of the we know certainly that was probably the best aspect of what he did at Chelsea, and I think if he was to do that,
in terms of the players they've got, if you think about it, a midfield of Jorginho and Kovacic, you've got a very similar thing in what's his face, the Milivojevic penalty taker and Jorginho, and then obviously bring in. I think they've got a DM. Is Kouyaté still there? Or has he left? I can't remember. Anyway,
I'm honestly not that educated on Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they've got a very. There's building blocks there that if Frank Lampard comes in, he can definitely build on. But our next team, I really rate the manager. And at one point they're playing some brilliant football.
And I rate the players, I rate the manager. Yeah, it's a good club, pulled in some mad results, but they've also pulled
9-0 to United.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
2 seasons in a row they've conceded 9 goals in a game of football, which is mental. It seems really disgraceful, and yet we go, Arsenal was a great manager. I think if he gets somewhere like Tottenham and gets the right budget, I think he could be very good. The problem is Southampton obviously do not have the squad depth, and we've noticed that at times. So if you look at the 9-0 to United, they did not have a defence. They had that young Yanksmith kid who went and got sent off within 5 minutes because he just was not ready to play against United at Old Trafford. So,
I think the squad depth is a big issue.
Squad depth has been a big problem. If not, I think they would have finished higher. Danny Ings injured a lot. He's very injury prone.
Yeah, he's very injury prone, but he is a quality striker. And I think once again they've got to be unlucky with injuries. Southampton, what would you give them? What out of the ranking? Out of whatever they're disappointed? I think you could say
they've been
certainly with their. I think they're disappointed with their
three. If you
putting them down with the likes of Arsenal and disappointing.
Yeah, because at one point Southampton were like 4th. Everyone thought they were going to get Champions League.
No, this is true.
At one point they were top, and
I forgot about that.
Stop the clock.
I do.
15th. So.
Yeah,
you've got to say it's been
disappointing. I think it's 3 is fair. They've got mad potential. I think they have got good potential.
People like James Ward-Prowse, people like Danny Ings, Che Adams. It's a very strong squad there. So next season, if they can get some squad depth and then hopefully not pick up any injuries, they could definitely do something.
What I'm going to say, we've got obviously we've got Brighton, Burnley.
5 clubs to go.
Yeah, we've got 5 clubs to go. Brighton, I was just going to go through them, but we might as well just do them in order. Let's do some quick fire. Brighton, 30 seconds. Go.
Graham Potter, very good.
No, less than 30
If
seconds.
they had a striker, then yes, I think they'd gone higher. XG says they'd be even higher, so very disappointing on that front. Probably a 2.
2? Yeah, I think they put in some good performances like on the odd game, but I don't think they're consistent.
They're a very good side. They just don't have a striker.
Yeah, they have once again though foundations very good. Moving on to bloody Burnley. They were on the brink of relegation, but obviously the 11-point gap.
Yeah.
If my maths is correct, it's a large gap. Let's face it. So Burnley. I think
I wouldn't describe it as in the brink because I don't think they're going to get relegated.
Yeah.
Burnley, one of those guys, don't go up, don't go down, as I mentioned.
Yeah, they lurk a lot.
So probably a 5, similar to Crystal Palace. It's just a bog standard season for
5.
Burnley. They're in no real threat of going down, but equally it wasn't anything.
Yeah, Sean Dyche's squad. I would give him a 5, but he does scran worms. The rumours are that Sean Dyche does eat worms. 4.5 for me then. So, moving into the relegation zone. Let's just say, we'll do a quick roundup of these 3 teams. Fulham on 28 points.
Fulham very good. What's his name? Scott Parker. Decent little manager. Do not have the budget to compete in the Premier League, and they did not invest well enough. They did not get in good enough.
I don't think
Areola was okay, but they just did not do enough in the transfer window to really compete. So
once again, I think they can play. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. They can play good football,
probably a 3.
But consistency once again isn't there. And I think that's a lot of the issue with these teams. They can put in the performance against the top side, but then perform awful
against,
3
or maybe even 2. But I do like Fulham.
I rate Fulham. I rate Fulham. I think they have once again good foundations going into the Championship. Will they get promoted back up? Just a quick 5 seconds. Do you think they're going to get promoted back up?
They could. It's impossible to call the Championship.
It's quite hard. It is quite hard to call the Championship. So I'm going to say I think a 3 or a 2, just because relegation.
They're going down, but they've got a good squad.
Yeah.
Hence, if they buy and sell, they'll come back up again. But
yeah, and they have the full. They do have an opportunity to come back up again. I definitely think they have the quality, but it's.
I think they've said.
Yeah.
Mitrovic is a brilliant little player, and they just did not use it. They did not.
Yeah.
You got to build the system around him, surely.
Yeah.
He's just so good.
Sam Allardyce, Fireman Sam, didn't come to the rescue.
No, but he certainly brought them higher than I thought they were going to do under Bilic. So.
Well, did you get rock bottom because they did place in 19th West Brom.
I mean, XG puts them below.
I was always confused though. I was always confused when Sky Sports are like Fireman Sam come to the rescue. I never believed that Sam Allardyce would put him above the relegation. I've never rated him as a manager.
I rate him as a manager, and obviously he was one of the first before Arsene Wenger to be bringing in things like proper strict diets and routines and that. So, and then the fourth.
No, it's true, that is a bit of a violation for me to say that I don't rate him as a manager, but I don't think he's like world class.
Nowadays, obviously, people just see him as Big Sam's pump it long and hope to score.
Yeah, got
big man striker, and we're gonna win
from England. So it's
that was intense. That was great.
Wow, we must be soulmates. Moving on to someone that, in my
give West
opinion,
Brom a score, but we'll go for 1.
well, yeah, let's big stinker. Fireman Sam in the bin. He literally is a bit. Have you seen the cartoon? Moving on to Sheffield United.
0.
Yeah, there's a
0.
massive disappointment for Sheffield
Big
United.
drop.
Last season they did quite well.
They did not buy a single. I mean, they bought in a few, but obviously they did not do enough. They just did not do enough.
It was very, very disappointing from Sheffield United. Got relegated so early as well.
Yeah.
And then again, I think we found that with all 3 teams. They got relegated very early.
Quite soon, and then they performed well after that.
Yeah.
Because they just stopped giving a fuck, so...
Yeah. Sheffield United, I don't know why you need to know this, but minus 43 goal difference.
Oh, God. That is
Let's give you 10 seconds. Final words, Sheffield United.
Did not recruit.
I didn't say 3 words, but I guess that'll do. Sheffield United, big disappointment. Didn't recruit. I think they have the potential. I think all 3 of these teams have potential to come back up, but Championships too close to call. Too close
Main
to call.
channel.
All the GM19 viewers will get that reference, but Jack, that is it. I don't know how long. Hang on, I'll quickly check. We've been recording for 56 minutes. So big up to anyone that's
How do we keep doing this?
Big up to anyone who's watched to the end. It really does help out. And it also helps us on the road to monetization. We're very far away from road to monetization
we'll get there one day.
on the TFC YouTube
No
channel.
money.
But please do subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Here.
Yes, yeah. Please.
Maybe we can have 2 one day. 1 for him, 1 for me. That'd be brilliant.
Maybe
so
we
please
could have
subscribe. Watch all the
top
content.
class. Yeah.
Every video. From start to finish.
Please do subscribe if you haven't already. If you did enjoy the video, share around the video as well. Comment down below what you think we got right, wrong. Subscribe. But yeah, on
TFC Live.
TFC Live.
Wednesday the 26th and Saturday the 29th of May. So obviously whenever this comes out, relate to that date. But yeah, Champions League and Europa League finals.
Yeah,
some
2 big live shows.
Games.
Yes.
Both going to be filled with fun, hopefully. Yeah!
This is it! Saves! It's absolutely saves! Yes!
Hopefully a lot of goals, because that really ups the mood. But if Chelsea lose, it will be a sad day for me. So if you watch and subscribe and like, that will make me at least
please do turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video or live show. But until then, hope you have a great rest of your day and goodbye.